Let's see where they start up today.
Take a look at the grid. Dario Franchitti, we talked about how important that pole was, and for Ryan Hunter-Reay, see that number one? He's won here before, and he is the defending champion.
Back in row two, you got two guys that are going to be nipping at their heels. Will Power, not used to starting inside a second row. Takuma Sato, fast here before. He's got a strong shot today.
I got row three there. Mike Conway, this guy gets around here pretty quick. He's done an unbelievable job jumping in a car since Baltimore last year. He's been fast all weekend.
Shares that row with the points leader, Elio Castroneves. Hinchcliffe has won this year at St. Pete, and nobody wants it more than Tony Kanaan.
That's right, going back to row five, Charlie Kimball, super strong at the last race. He is, a podium finisher now in IndyCar. He'll be looking to score his first win today.
A couple of guys in row six that really would like to get a good finish. Graham Rahal, Hildebrand. These guys struggled a little bit. They've shown some speed. Let's see what happens today.
You move back to row seven, James Jake, AJ Allmendinger. AJ had been so quick throughout the latter practice sessions, just missed it in qualifying of starting row seventh. I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of.
Not at all. He's getting closer to his Penske teammates now. Look at how deep this field is. You've got Sebastian Bourdais, former winner here at Long Beach. Joseph Newgarden has been on the front row here. They're back in row eight. They're going to be moving quickly to the front.
Just say, there's a lot of guys that just missed it in qualifying. I mean, we watched during qualifying, we watched the names. I mean, you were first, second, all of a sudden you were eighth in about a minute. So there's a lot of fast cars here today. Very, very tight on times.
Simona Di Silvestro, she was quick in practice, but then had an incident with Justin Wilson in practice the other day. She needs to find her legs and get back up front.
One guy I'm watching is Alex Tagliani. He struggled at St. Pete, the first street race of the season, to get grip out of the front end. He felt like he really had it come together this weekend, but didn't get a good run in qualifying.
Justin Wilson, we mentioned that he had no time earlier. Yeah.
Right.
Ed Carpenter back there, he's improving every time. Marco Andretti got in trouble for interfering on a lap, and that's what kicked him out of the top 6 or top 12. And Tristan Vautier, who's been so strong, starts by himself out in the back. Well, we went for a ride with Annie there in the two-seater, but Townsend, we were talking about unforgiving concrete canyons here at Long Beach. Take us around for a lap.
So let's take a lap around what I consider the most prestigious street race in the IndyCar series. Now, to get a fast lap at Long Beach, you have to be brave in 3 key areas. Okay, these are braking zones from high speed down to very slow speed. Those are in turn 1, turn 6, and turn 9. Generally, the driver that hits the brake pedal the latest is going to have the fastest lap around here. The most unique feature at Long Beach, turn 11 there, the hairpin, the tightest corner in all of racing. Guys, we're about to find out who's going to tame the beach today.
Well, and you'll see on that wide shot, that long front straightaway, and we'll have some great onboard shots for you. Simon Pagenaud in the number 77. You'll actually see these drivers go to one hand on the steering wheel through that hairpin. It's so tight. There's a look at Simon. Joseph Newgarden will bring us some good shots from on board. Remember, Newgarden's so quick here last year. James Jakes from Team Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. There's a look at Jakes. And these are going to be some awesome shots. J.R. Hildebrand in the National Guard card. And he needs a finish, like you were saying, Wally. We want to see J.R. up there, and he's had some good times in some of the practice sessions. There's a look at Charlie Kimball in the 83 from Ganassi Racing. And then the number 3 of Elio Castroneves. Let's head back down to the pits, and Jan.
And it'll be a little different strategy this year, Brian, and they have shortened, IndyCar has, the race by 5 laps. That changes the pit windows to make it, I think, an easy 2-stop strategy. Look at those windows, 16 to 31, 48 to 63. Lots of room to play.
Getting ready for green, the field streaming through the carousel for the final time before the green flag waves. Ryan Hunter-Reay, Dario Franchitti on the front row, the green flag falls. Ryan Hunter-Reay ducks in behind Dario down towards turn 1. Hinchcliffe looking to move forward as well. Franchitti, oh, look at Hunter-Reay.
Clear, still clear, all clear, all clear.
Ryan Hunter-Reay in that yellow number 1 from Andretti Autosport. And a little contact there in the fountain turn.
That's Mike Conway getting into the back of Will Power.
Conway feeling racy, considering it's been a little while since he's been in a car.
Wally, I'm stunned they all got through turn 1.
I'm shocked. That's why I'm not saying anything. That was about as pretty as it gets going through turn 1 at Long Beach.
I was going to say, now things settling down a little bit, but you already see cars trying to jockey forward.
Graham Rahal going around EJ Viso, ducks inside. Graham needs a big day today.
Oh,
Scott
Oh,
Dixon.
Dixon, the right rear
rear.
is flat, so he must have had some contact there.
wonder if that was in turn 5. Let's take a look. Contact perhaps, cuts it down. Let's look.
Oh, he got clobbered.
Yeah, that's Tristan Vautier absolutely driving straight into the back of Scott Dixon, flatting his right rear. I mean, here's, again, you got two guys at the back that feel like they should be well at the front. They should be well at the front. They're both pushing like heck, but tough break for Dixon. Tough way to start the day.
And I'm sure Vautier's going to have to come in. I'm sure he's got some wing damage.
Looks like the front wing does also.
Scott Dixon had a problem in practice the other day. Hit the wall pretty hard in turn 9 at the end of the back straightaway. Weekend not going his way.
Whoa.
Oh,
That is Bourdais popping on Newgarden
can he make
for
it
turn
through,
1.
though?
Barely making it.
Wow.
Intense stuff. Sebastian Bourdais has won here before, a former IndyCar champion, looking to make good. The season not going his way. They finished the season so strong last year, and he told me the other day, I'm frustrated, and I'm frustrated because we did end the season so strong. Where did those gains that we made, where did they go this year when we came back? Let's head down to Marty.
Well, certainly not the start Scott Dixon wanted. It has been a rough weekend for this race team. They'll have to change the front wing. You see the scuffed red tires going on. He is very upset with Tristan Vautier. He said he needs a penalty. I have no idea what he was thinking. They get the front wing back on and the red tires, but clearly this is going to be a long day for Scott Dixon, losing tons and tons of time here on pit road.
And worst thing is he's going to lose a lap. It'd be one thing if he could get out there and,
A big problem.
big crash.
Saavedra.
The Saavedra, yeah.
Sebastian Saavedra. Turn 9, that's at the right-hander at the end of the long back straightaway. Very quick corner.
It is, Brian. That's the right-hander that you use a lot of the apex curb. I wonder if he used a little too much and got launched. Let's see what happens here.
It's where Scott Dixon had his problem the other day. Full course caution, pits are closed. Look up.
He pops on Simona. Late move. Yeah, he just
Carried too much speed through there.
absolutely carried too much
Yeah.
speed, Wally. And man, I got to say, that wasn't even close.
But but that's the thing, Townsend, on this place. Really, you got to make those kind of moves under braking.
John?
Marco Andretti getting his service. They're checking carefully over the right rear, checking for damage at the same time that they're going for a new nose cone. They know they're not losing track position now. They're just taking the opportunity to change to a new nose and go to red sidewalls for Marco Andretti.
Now, here's the problem, guys. You were so impressed with the first lap in turn 1, and then it all went to heck in a handbasket after that. It's like everybody stayed calm for turn 1, and then it gets a little crazy, and there is no way Saavedra's going to make it through.
So, you're right, and Saavedra wasn't even close. He must have been 10 miles an hour too fast at the apex. If you're Simona Di Silvestro, what you do in that situation is you go super deep on the brakes when you know somebody pops to force him into a mistake like that. But that was way too optimistic.
Full course caution at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Only 4 laps in the books, and already cars hitting pit lane. Jan?
Justin Wilson has been on the radio saying there's no weight. He's saying there's no weight on the front, so they're trying to add something to Justin Wilson. Marty?
Vautier putting on some sticker red tires, also getting a front wing here. Now, he was adamant on the radio, guys. We did see the replay, but he said, I could not avoid that contact with Scott Dixon, so he questioned that penalty from IndyCar.
How can you? What do you
Just
mean?
relaying information, Wally. I'm relaying information.
I just don't understand how you can say that.
Listen, when you're a driver in this series and you're under the gun, you absolutely commit to your position full stop and,
Listen,
and
I've
hope for
come
the
off with
best.
some winners, but I've never used that one, TB.
I have to agree with him, though. There was a point where he wasn't going to be able to avoid the car in front of him. It was like when he was about 4 inches behind him and about 20 miles an hour too quick. So he can plead his case all he wants, but yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Marco Andretti had been in pit lane and back out. Dario Franchitti still out in front. It's the first time that he has led a street or road course race since Toronto of last year. Well, still trying to get Sebastian Saavedra's number 6 cleaned up. He had problems yesterday as well.
This has not been a good weekend for Sebastian. Here's overshooting the turn 1 braking zone. He does a nice little donut, clean and tidy to get it spun around. Now he's going to rejoin the course, but he floors it here. He gets over on the marbles offline and just augers straight on into the wall.
You're Dixon right now, you're a lap down. Why not run 2 or 3 laps, come in and get fuel, try to get that window when you can get back on the lead lap in case a yellow comes out. That's about his only shot, isn't it? Go run a few laps green, come in, top off, you're not going to lose a lap.
Well, and he had problems last year, too. I mean, so this has not been a good racetrack for him. This was last year. that's not at speed. I mean, I know
No,
everybody else is behind the safety car, but he had driveline problems, and then this. And
Nothing
then
he could do there.
And then he had the crash. Well, yeah, that one he can't do anything about, but he did have that crash at the end of the back straightaway the other day. Dixon is in. Marty?
Well, I asked Mike Hull why they're not pitting right now, and he said they're positioned physically on the racetrack. They're about mid-pack right now because of all those cars that pitted earlier. If they pit now, they go to the very back of the pack. We're coming to the green, Wally. That's why they didn't come to pit road, because they're worried about all those cars they'd have to get back through, if that makes sense.
Well, and this is not what Dario Franchitti wanted to see. It's a restart. The green flies, and Hunter Ray with a great jump. And now they're out now. And Dario's got to be concerned. He's not had the season he wanted. He's got Sato behind him, Hunter Ray in front of him.
Oh, Franchitti.
Look at Dario.
Will he make it through?
Yeah.
Nice move.
And clean again through turn one. And then we're going to get, no, contact there. Viso.
If you're going to make contact, though, that's a place to do it because you're running so slow.
Well, yeah, but side by side through the fountain, there is no room at the exit there. Amazingly, they've gotten through clean.
And one more time, just like the start last year where Dario Franchitti said, no, I'm not giving it up, and Joseph Newgarden had his problem. Dario looked like he had given up to Ryan Hunter-Reay on that restart, but takes it back. Impressive stuff, and that's what Dario needs. He's got the confidence after the pole, and yeah, he
rolled it in there a little bit further. That was really a nice move.
I love this shot because you really get a sense of the load on the rear tires trying to get the power down here at Long Beach. Everybody single file into turn 9. If you notice how dark the pavement is, that's brand new pavement. Actually, it was new last year. It's much darker than the rest of the asphalt on the track. The grip level is much higher through that section.
Now it'll be interesting to see whose car is good right off the bat. Who has a car that's going to be quick on restarts from the get-go, and it looks to me like Dario has a bit of an advantage there. Now, obviously, as we change to different tires throughout the event, when we go to reds or blacks, it'll be interesting to see how that balance changes. But you ride on board with Castroneves.
Castroneves, I believe, lost quite a few spots there on the start somehow. He's down in 12th right now. Does he have some damage there?
He certainly does. His right front end fence and the upper plane on the front wing is damaged. What that's going to do is reduce his front downforce. It's going to force him to pick up understeer, especially in the left-handers. Let's see what happened. How this happened. 3 wide. He locks up the front brakes there. That wasn't the contact, but I guess we're going to see an accordion effect here. Boom, right there.
And now he's lost significant downforce. We saw cars at St. Pete with problems, and even just losing a little bit of that or losing control of that second element, you lose massive amounts of downforce.
We'll put a new nose in fuel.
There you go. There you go. And a lot of people.
Guys, what do you want to do?
I think they just told you what.
But this time.
But Townsend doesn't. I mean, it's going to hurt, but you're still on fresh enough tires. I would think it would hang in there a little bit longer.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt as much as a green flag pit stop, which Elio has decided I'm not going to do. He stayed out. He said, you know what? Let's see how this thing does.
I would hang in there as long as I can because you're right. You're going to lose way too much time.
Well, and the other thing, guys, if you can somehow make it about 4 more laps, Elio Castroneves can pit and only have to pit 1 more time. Now, you would need caution to make that work, but if he can just hang in there for a little bit, they can make this work on 1 more stop.
That's when a driver starts, obviously, I think that was John Erickson on the radio, but, when you're in a seat as a driver, you start thinking, well, wait a minute, the car's not that bad. I don't want to give this up.
I agree. Now, we saw Graham Rahal make a move on Tony Kanaan. Nobody's in a bigger hurry to go to the front than Graham today. He's only got 6 push to passes left. He's burned 4 already to get that extra turbo on the front straight.
You ride on board with Charlie Kimball, a man who has really had the bit in his teeth this year.
Behind us, so just focus on us. We're doing good so far.
Now what he's telling him is he's saying Graham is behind us. He's used a lot of his overtake so far. Don't feel under pressure. Graham's going to have to conserve his push to pass.
Big steering through the hairpin onto the front straightaway. It's really almost full lock, and you watch these drivers pull one hand off the wheel to even get enough steering.
It really is, and it's so deceiving, the hairpin at Long Beach, because there's this stack-up effect. You get right on the gearbox of the guy, and you think, oh, I'm going to be right on him coming off the hairpin, and then it always stretches out. It's the hardest exit in motorsports, I think, to make a run on a guy.
The slow corners always are. It seems like that's that mechanical grip, but it's so hard to get off those slow corners.
And guys, let's keep Charlie Kimball's weekend in perspective after the terrific run at Barber a couple of weeks ago. They came here Friday. They had major electrical issues. He told me, we only got 2 clean run season's in, so people don't know how good our 9th place qualifying effort was, and the fact that we're even running in the top 10. They had a car that really wouldn't work at all on Friday. To see them running in the top 10, qualifying in the top 10, an impressive comeback considering how bad Friday was.
Well, two starts here before with a best of 18, so Kimball very impressive right now. Graham Rahal, another one of those drivers that we talked about earlier, needs a good finish. He hasn't had the season that he wanted.
No, he's been incredibly frustrated. I saw him at an event earlier this week. You know, so many parties here at Long Beach, but I noticed his fingernails all but gone. And I think that just speaks to the tension and the building pressure for Graham Rahal to produce. And so far today, he's on track. Whoa.
Graham Rahal wasn't certain how things were going to be coming into this when he started on the reds, but as you can see, he's making good progress so far. He said we might actually be better on the black, so we'll try it out that first stint and then make a decision later. But he's been able to make up some ground here in this first stint on the scuffed red tires.
Well, you heard Bobby Rahal say to Graham down the front straightaway, push to pass, use it if you need it, and you saw why. Tony Kanaan side by side with him in the braking zone down there. You get 10 push to passes.
That's right.
Here at Long Beach, 20 seconds each time.
Tony Kanaan was on his push to pass. Surprised us there when we saw him duck outside going into turn 1 of the brakes.
But once you commit to that button,
that's it. It starts its countdown.
You take your finger off, it doesn't matter. It's going to run for 20 seconds. So I'm sure he wasn't pleased to be stuck on the outside. It was probably a push to pass that was wasted. But
the only guy in the top 13 right now that hasn't touched that button is AJ Allmendinger. I'm kind of wondering, have they even well, Hildebrand hasn't either, but I wonder if AJ knows where that thing is on the wheel. He's so new to this new Dallara.
Gap on Kanaan now. Focus forward, babe.
that was Bobby Rahal again to Graham saying, focus forward. You've gapped him a little bit. Focus forward. Ryan Hunter-Reay. Takuma Sato right behind in the red, white, and blue number 14. Sato really putting the pressure on, and that is allowing Dario Franchitti to pull away, Marty.
Well, John Erickson asked Helio Castroneves, can you hang on to it for 4 more laps? And he said, what? He hung on to it for about 2 more laps. They were losing a second a lap, decided to come in. They put the new front wing on. They are going to need some caution to make it from here. Sticker black's going for Helio. They're going to need some help, but they're going to try and make it on 1 more stop, guys.
Well, a lot of people look at these street circuits and think that downforce doesn't really matter because they're slow corners. That's not true. There are a lot of quick corners here, and those wings really help in the braking zones as well. As you look at Sato really putting the pressure on Hunter-Reay.
Well, the reason these cars can go so fast around a track like this is because of the downforce and also the fact they don't weigh very much. They've got, you know, decent power to weight. Sato keeps working on Hunter-Reay here. And I'm looking up at what he's using push to pass wise. Both of them have used 2 of their 10. But he's really,
like you said, it's so hard to get off the corner right behind somebody. You've got to be a little bit closer.
You really need the guy in front, Wally, to make a little mistake. See a little bit of an oversteer bobble, the rear jumps out, and then you think about getting on that button.
Now what's impressive is timing and scoring is showing us Sato on blacks, and right in front of him, Ryan Hunter-Reay on the red, and Sato on those blacks having a good run.
Yeah, you know, in warm-up, that's what confused me. I really couldn't figure out who was going to be strong because we didn't see the reds with the same sort of advantage that we saw at Barber. And I thought the tires seemed really equal until they start to wear out. Maybe you know more about that one.
No, I was just going to say, you remember St. Pete, because this is really the same, this is more the St. Pete compound. The tires were fairly close.
Right behind them, Will Power running 4th. Can he win here again at Long Beach? Remember, he's had a good run here before, trying to move forward. Through the carousel, and he's hanging on to the back of Sato, but he's got to start to worry about that green car right behind him. Hinchcliffe starting to chase him down, and once again, Will Power on the reds, Hinchcliffe on the black. So different strategies earlier here when the guys chose which tires they wanted to start on. Franchitti still pulling out a little bit at a time though, and you got to be impressed. That car working, we watched it in practice and in qualifying, seems to have been underneath him all week long. Street circuits, yeah, they're a bit bumpy, and if you want to see just how hard you got to work, just look at these cars. And half the time, as you watch Dario Franchitti through there over the bumps, they're not even on the ground. We'll be back to more from Long Beach. Ryan Hunter-Reay in the yellow number 1, Takuma Sato, the red, white, and blue 14 from AJ Foyt Racing right behind. They don't have the best of relationships at this racetrack.
There's some history here. You remember last year, Ryan Hunter-Reay charging up through the field. Sato was, I think, a lap away. And Hunter-Reay pops out at the last second, surprises Sato, a little bit of contact. Sato spins around and stalls. Hunter-Reay goes on.
It's a good thing drivers don't remember things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure Takuma's completely erased that from memory.
Sato has been all over the back of Hunter-Reay, and we talked about it. Sato on the blacks, Ryan Hunter-Reay on those reds, and you guys were talking about during the break, maybe the reds just, they're not lasting long enough, and that's why the black is a more durable tire for the long run.
My guess is that we're just starting to get to the point in the stint here where the reds are going to start wearing off, and I think you're going to see that at the rear of the car first, and it plays to Sato's favor as that happens. Marty?
Well, Townsend, I would say don't pay so much attention to the tires. I think what's going on with both Ryan Hunter-Reay and Will Power, they're in a little bit of a fuel save mode. In fact, all the conversations between Ryan Hunter-Reay and Michael Andretti have been about fuel. He wants him to run to a certain fuel number, but keep that position ahead of Sato, Jan.
And Marty, I think it's a combination of both. Of course, Brian, you just talked about black versus red, primary versus alternate on the two cars you're watching here with Sato and Ryan Hunter-Reay. But again, you have two different engine manufacturers working on hitting a fuel number.
Lap 17, it's still early. Keep it smart, doing a great job.
And that's the kind of radio calls you're hearing as they're coaching them through on managing tires. Don't burn off the rear tires, but also hit that fuel number. Again, it's not super fuel save. It's just you hit a number to be sure you hit that window. And by the way, the pit window is open if anybody wants to take it now.
Don't you love it when your crew chief or your engineer says, I need you to go faster, but oh, by the way, save fuel.
Save fuel, but don't get past.
Yeah, exactly. The window for pit stops are open. You just heard him say it. Pagenaud is in.
Yes, and that window open, and Simon Pagenaud taking advantage of that, and that has to be
Qualifying mode from now on.
Rob Edwards telling him qualifying mode because they have so much time to make up, and he has to be, I would have to say, the biggest disappointment from how fast he was. He was the fastest car in practice
Just coming out of the hairpin now. He goes just out of the hairpin now.
before qualifying, and they just lost the balance on the car. It's amazing, Townsend. They were lightning fast, and one change, and they were out of the ballpark.
Yeah, you know, I think what we've seen since St. Pete is most of the field that was struggling on front tire grip has figured out how to get the front tires to work on these street circuits, and those that had it figured out haven't figured anything new out, and so the field's condensed a bit there.
You hear radio traffic saying we're in the window now. As Jan had said, Dr. Beekes has it sorted out, the fuel strategy, and he is right on with his windows, as he called them earlier, and they're opening, but man, the door has opened for Dario Franchitti, and he has run through it and beginning to pull away, just over 2 seconds in hand, but it has been steadily increasing a tenth by a tenth each lap.
I think it just goes to show, you know, Wally, what it's like when you're out front in clean air. You can get that you can just start putting your numbers together, hitting your marks point to point. We see Tagliani coming in for a stop.
A couple out laps here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when there's nobody in front of you, all you got to do is focus on what you're doing, which is driving the race car. You don't have to be worried about the guy in front of you and what he's doing. Now, that's probably going to change because we're going to start seeing, I think, a lot more traffic once these stops, everybody goes through their stops.
And you saw Alex Tagliani just leaving the pits. He's made his first stop. Hunter-Reay still being hounded, but now this group has been joined by Will Power, Hinchcliffe, Kimball's in there, Rahal at the back of it. This group really closing up.
Tire saving map. Remind me to put it back later.
And I think also you start looking at, if you're Sato or one of these guys, maybe I don't want to pit with all these guys. Maybe I want to get in before they do and try to get away from it. This way, maybe beat these guys out of the pits.
We just heard on the radio, I think that was Hunter-Reay saying to his pits, guys, I'm in my tire saving map. Remind me to put it back later. What that means is that he's gone to a torque smoothing profile on the engine to take a little bit of the load off the rear tires under acceleration. Not so much to save fuel, it's all about saving the tire compound. And when he's saying, remind me later, that means when I go back to new tires, don't forget to remind me to go back to a higher torque setting to take advantage of it.
Now, Will Power sliding that number 12 Penske entry around. Perhaps the reds beginning to go away on him because I saw the car loose, power down off of several of the corners right now. They're in the window. When do you make that change to say, come in, let's get some fresh tires on this thing so we can go and make up some ground?
Well, Brian, in fact, Will Power just said on the radio, I need a little help here. Tim Cindric told him you're going to have to wait about 8 laps. They're going to pit around lap 30. And exactly what Townsend and Wally were just talking about. If you can go one more lap than the other guys around you, you definitely want to do that because that can gain you a ton of time here at Long Beach.
One more time, that relationship with your engineer. Can I come in? No. Hinchcliffe following through. Just a lap ago, some good battles on the racetrack as you watch Hinchcliffe still chasing Will Power. Sato right behind Hunter-Reay. Look at this. Vautier on your right.
Now Marco's got something in his right front. Well, that's his flap has collapsed on the right front.
Perhaps contact earlier, and we were talking about it. It doesn't take much of a change. You lose that aerodynamic help, and your lap time goes away. Same thing we saw with Castroneves.
Well, they changed the nose once.
Yeah, this thing's
hit something again.
These things are like finely tuned violins. You knock them around too much, and it doesn't sound too good, or in this case, they don't drive too well.
Yep. And you're seeing the result of it right there. These two cars running well from the start, and we've seen it. Ryan Hunter-Reay under pressure from Sato, but you got to think two very different mindsets here. Hunter-Reay knows he can win. He's won the championship. Sato wants to attack.
Well, Sato's mindset is, I'm on blacks. I can see Hunter-Reay starting to struggle now on those reds. That thing's starting to slide around.
Yes, we do.
Sato's on the button. He's going to look to make a move. Inside or outside, we're about to find out.
Hunter-Reay went to it as well.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, Brian just said on the radio, the car just gone. Look at this pass, Sato on the inside.
That's the pass you make, and that's all. It was perfect. He got through the last corner close enough to where he could use to push the pass, and it was beautiful.
Well, they both went to the button, but Hunter-Reay just a little late in defensive mode, and it wasn't quick enough. Sato with the run, with the push to pass, makes the move.
Every team's going to be watching what happens to Hunter-Reay now with him slowing down, and you see here Conway comes in, going to go out on fresh reds.
Strategy beginning to unfold a little bit here as we get into the fuel windows, but Dario Franchitti now up to 3.2 seconds. Just a lap ago, it was 2.2.
And look at Sato. I mean, Sato is pretty much, he's just stretching right now on Hunter-Reay. Hinchcliffe right there behind Power.
I think maybe you had it nailed, Townsend. Sato feeling like he had a little faster car. If he could just get by him, build up a little bit of lead, that'll help him on the pit stop.
Well, there's a situation with the tires where you have this crossover where the softer red rubber and the benefit that you get from that starts to deteriorate and the blacks stay consistent. There's this crossover effect. We're right in that window right now.
Larry Foyt on the radio, I believe, talking to Takuma Sato, saying, great job, just a couple more good laps. Give us some good laps and we'll be there. Will Power now next in line behind Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Watching the times with Dario and Takuma, and Dario starting to slow down a little bit. Sato's the quickest car on track in the top 6.
Hey boys, AJ Foyt's at home watching this race. He's going to have surgery Wednesday trying to get rid of that problem with his sciatic nerve, but I got news for you. That made him happy. He hired Sato because he likes his aggression, and you just saw it again.
Now we're seeing James Hinchcliffe really put the pressure on.
They're in the same position. Hinchcliffe and Power on the reds, Hinchcliffe is on the primaries.
Strategy playing out here from the 39th running of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. It's IZOD IndyCar action on the NBC Sports Network. Pit stops beginning to play out low, and an air hose in front of James Jakes, and that is going to be a problem if he has run over it. He didn't, so is that going to be a penalty? He didn't run over it with the wheel.
Not a penalty, but the penalty is
the penalty is,
I think we're watching the penalty unfold in front of us, which is massive time loss.
But if he had run over that air hose, there would have been a big penalty for running over pit equipment. So it got wedged underneath the wing, and you guys said it. The penalty was time lost on pit road. Jake's back underway. We're in those windows, those fuel windows. Guys coming in not only for fuel, but we're hearing a lot of complaints right now about the red tires. Guys beginning to lose the handle on the car. And AJ Allmendinger in the number 2 Penske entry out of the hairpin and into pit lane.
Along with Oriol Servia.
Damage to the front wing, the left front of AJ Allmendinger's car. Contact with the number 4 of JR Hildebrand is what we were told.
3, 2, 1, in.
They will service AJ Allmendinger in the normal fashion. At the same time, they're going to go for the front wing. The quick release is done. They have practiced this many times.
Get the hose out of the way up here, Billy. Get the hose, get the hose.
Serbia's come in, a few other people taking advantage. That was a 17-second stop for AJ Allmendinger. That is going to lose you a lot of track position.
Yeah, I was kind of counting in my head there. I didn't see the watch. But it's about 8 seconds, 7 or 8 extra seconds there, changing the nose.
Is that Tim Cindric I just heard saying, don't worry about it, let's just go?
That would be Mr. P, Mr. Penske, the captain.
Well, right now, Ryan Hunter-Reay holding on, Will Power right behind him, and Hinchcliffe was a little bit closer earlier, but look at Sato. Look at what he has done and how he's closed the gap. Remember, Franchitti had a 3.2 second lead. It's now down to 9/10 of a second.
Yeah, and as we talked about, the red tires, which is Franchitti is on right now, they're giving up. they're not as fast as they were earlier.
Well, Wally, Dario's faster than anybody else on Reds right now, so he's making them work and hanging on, and he's obviously more experienced than just about anybody, so he'll know when to come in and raise the hand and say, I need new rubber. Here's Hildebrand coming in from 11th.
Everybody beginning to cycle through. Franchitti still leading, but let's take a look at just a moment ago on one of the stops. Well, this is the reason that Hildebrand's stopping. That's A.J. Allmendinger in the number 2. J.R. Hildebrand in the 4 right in front, and Hildebrand loose.
Yeah, he lost it just a little bit, and
hard time getting the power down coming off the corner.
He got a little loose, but what AJ's trying to do is he's trying to absolutely maximize the run he's got, because he knows it's going to be tight, out breaking him into the next corner. And I'm afraid that AJ just underestimated the distance the nose of his car was to Hildebrand. Here is power on Hunter-Reay.
Will Power around Hunter-Reay. Jan.
Takuma Sato just finished his service.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah, and you heard that. That's because it was 8.7 seconds. Nice job for Sato.
Wow, impressive, and he was on a charge, hunting down Franchitti. And you'd certainly expect, Ryan Hunter-Reay now in for his first stop.
Bird's eye view, Ryan Hunter-Reay putting sticker black tires on. He said, I need so much help. And he also said on the radio to Michael Andretti, key information for later in the race. I think black tires may be the key at the end of the race. You saw Charlie Kimball leave pit road. He said of his car, I'm barely hanging on a wing change. Also sticker blacks for Charlie Kimball as well.
you know, that was such a great pit stop at Sato. It's going to be interesting to see if Franchitti can get out of the pits ahead of Sato.
Oh, look at Hunter-Reay. Problems there. Cold tires into the fountain turn. Kanaan working on Kimball there. Kimball on cold tires.
That's Tagliani taking a look and a little nudge saying, hello, buddy, I'm right here. They're side by side. This is going to be a battle of bravery, braking for turn 6.
And Franchitti now, the leader in, and the problem.
Hold it. Up.
Trouble for Franchitti, and they have to get it back up on the jack to get away. And now, because he got out later, he had to make that extra turn to get around E.J. Viso.
Wow, look at this.
These guys were just battling each other.
The battle of bravery
ended up in the tires.
Ended up a dead heat.
Not surprised by what we see there after the previous couple of corners.
Well, here's the thing is that we know Tagliani drives with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. He came out of the, Hunter-Reay came out of the pits, got him fired up. Now he's side by side with Kimball here going down to turn 6. It's a question of who's going to brake later. They're side by side. Kimball breaks later. Tagliani goes for the over-under. He's now outside approaching the next corner, right-hander. Kimball tries to stuff it back in here. Overshoots. Tagliani's got no way to make the corner and just gets bumped off.
Yeah, I think with the cold tires, I don't think Kimball had enough to make that corner. With the speed he tried to roll in there. There's a great shot.
Oh, there's the hit on the right rear.
We're going to dive in here.
It was a nice clean chrome horn at least. No damage I don't see on Tagliani's car. Now Tag's going to back off, do the over-under. He ducks inside. He's got the outside lane now. He knows Kimball's there, and when Kimball overshoots the corner, Tag's got nowhere to go. Marty?
Well, Brian, we'll have to see how this plays out for Will Power. He hits pit road here under caution, able to get the tire change done. Sticker blacks, he said he needed a little bit of help. You see him leaving pit road. This will be interesting to see how the rest of this plays out. They did want to leave him out for one more lap, thinking that would gain time on Ryan Hunter-Reay. We'll see if that actually winds up costing them.
It'll be interesting to see, as you said, Marty, where everything plays out with the yellow being out. Looked like maybe some drivers getting the message a little bit late. It looked like we had a race down to turn 1 there for a second.
Yep.
It's Sato now who cycles to the front. Sato, Power, Wilson, Vautier, De Silvestro. That will look at the top 5 as they try to get Charlie Kimball out. And Kimball just trying to hold on to those cold tires, trying to get them up to temperature. I think you had it perfectly, Townsend. He just didn't have the grip as he turned in there.
No, I don't. You know, he did everything right there until he overshot it there for turn 7. But you know, it's good hard racing. Drama's high, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Hopefully, they can both get going here.
Well, Kimball's a lap down, or they're both going to be a lap down.
So Charlie Kimball now back underway.
It's okay, we'll get caught up here.
Coming up in just a moment, James Hinchcliffe is going to give us a tour of his driving space with Avis. Own your space. Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, there's James Hinchcliffe right there, running 6th right now. And I look at that piece, Wally, and it reminds me why you and I don't drive race cars anymore. We're not smart enough to work the steering wheel.
Can't even see the steering wheel. Let's talk about working it. Hey, I do want to point out, I think if this thing is all sorted out, Dixon is back on the lead lap.
Well, Takuma Sato wants to pass everybody.
The car you need to capture. Pace car has the leader. Thank you.
That's always somewhat embarrassing when there's a Days of Thunder thing there, I think. Go past the pace car.
I
like that view right there, bud. Just so you know, Powers behind you and Franchitti, they're both on blacks. Then you got Conway on reds. So you should be in good shape here with your reds.
So important for the drivers to understand that. You have the team engineers, the team managers, the strategists making those calls, telling you where your competition is. What weapon do they have to use, and where are you going to be in this? Helps you with your strategy. Let's head back down to pit lane and Robin.
Boys, this is the busiest man in motorsports, Connor Daly. He's going to be at Indy this year as a rookie. He's a GP3 driver. He's a GP2 driver. He's a Formula One test driver. But you got the ride, kid, without bringing any money, because A.J. Foyt loved the way you tested his car.
That's the best part, I think. You know, it's a great opportunity from AJ and the whole, you know, ABC Supply Group. It's going to be cool. I mean, I think everyone's tired of me using all the great adjectives to describe how I feel. But it's just going to be awesome. So I'm pumped.
Okay, you're going to run a GP2 race the weekend of rookie orientation. So what's the plan?
Well, GP3.
Sorry, GP3.
That's all right. Yeah, I'll be there May 11, 12, unofficially. But yeah, I think it'll be fine. I get home Sunday night, enough time for a good rest, and hit the track Monday morning, I think.
You got to run the car at Sebring and test it there, and AJ liked the fact that your feedback was really good. He changed the car once, but he didn't really change it, and you came in and said...
Well, I couldn't feel it. Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that.
And he loved it because he's like, we've done that 100 times, and those guys always feel something that they don't. But AJ's feeling a lot of pain right now. He's had a really trouble with his sciatic nerve, and he's going to go surgery. He's going to have surgery on Wednesday. So the most important thing, I guess, is we need to get him healthy because his experience at Indy is going to be really good. And I know the other thing I'm really impressed with besides Sato's driving is the pit stops are much better. Larry Foyt's really doing a good job with his team.
These guys have it all going for them right now, I think. I mean, they've worked really hard, and Larry's done an awesome job putting these guys together and continuing to work on it, because it's a hard thing to do, is run at the front, and sure enough, Sato's leading now. So it's really cool, and I'm just happy to be working with the guys. I mean, it's going to be a great month.
Your dad ran Formula One. Of course, he ran Indy a few times. You think he's going to be a Little League father, or is he going to stay out of the way and don't want AJ screaming at him?
I hope he's not a Little League father, but I know him quite well, so I think he'll kind of, stay back and, offer his advice when he can. But, he's busy, too. He's got a job, so, we'll both be doing our thing, and, it should be interesting to see how it all works out.
Well, kid, it's good to have A.J. Foyt with an American driver. Super Techs get well, quit eating raw meat, and we'll see you at Indy.
We saw the lights off on the pace car, 1 to go.
Going down into one, there's going to be a lot more contact than we saw the first couple of starts.
Well, Wally, look at some of the guys buried in the field. I mean, Marco Andretti 18th, Bourdais 17th, Castroneves 21st.
Yeah.
To your point, this is their chance.
They've got to make the hay while they can.
If the start's important, a restart is super critical because you're running out of time. I got to make something happen, and I got to do it now.
And the easiest time to make those passes really are on the restart, especially if you can find a spot on a restart. If you can go high and they're all boxed up low, you can pass a lot of cars.
Well, don't forget about Verizon streaming. To download the IndyCar 13 app, call ** Indy or search the App Store or Google Play. Only from Verizon, you get to see things like this from Joseph Newgarden's car. Love watching the tire work over the bumps here, and you can kind of see it deflect back and forth, but it's good stuff. Verizon live streaming, and you can see it by going to IndyCar 13. Good stuff, and I think what's interesting is the strategy is different with tires up front. Remember at the start, Sato was on blacks, Power was on reds. Now they're going to start completely opposite with the tires that they have on.
Yeah, but before you pick your tires, you got to make sure your wing is working. And Marco Andretti's still got issues with that front wing, as we see here. We're going to grid up and come to the restart right now.
And this is what you don't want to see. You don't want a yellow because you don't want to. Oh, look at that already.
That was a really, really slow restart. Somebody got an awful start there.
Mike Conway had trouble getting going. He is still slow on the front straight. Let's see what happens down here at turn 1.
And Kanaan was all over it from, I think, maybe before the drop of the green.
There we go.
Hinchcliffe.
Iso, Hinchcliffe.
James Hinchcliffe, who had been having such a good day.
Hinch is going to be done. That left front is not looking factory.
2 in a row. Think back to Barber when he sat in the car for the longest time and didn't get a result.
It's a full course yellow, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, Graham didn't get that memo yet. He was sticking a wheel in under there. I got to tell you, turn 1 at Long Beach. I raced here yesterday in the Ferrari and the LMS. It is so hard on starts and restarts because you're coming from the fastest part of the track to one of the slowest, and where you actually decide to hit the brake pedal, there's several seconds before you find out if that was a good decision or not in terms of your ability to get it slowed down at the apex. But that was kind of what we were sort of expecting, Wally.
Yeah, and like I said, it's getting closer and closer, and you're losing opportunities to make roundup now. We're 34 out of 80 laps. We'll take a look here.
Especially when you're dealing with the guy that won the first race of the season, who's currently, P5, P6. He's like, I don't like it back here. I want to be at the front, and I'm going to see what I can do here.
You see right here.
And he came from way back, Hinchcliffe, way back.
He's clean right now.
Well, he should.
He just tried to get it in there.
He never should have even poked in there. He was 2 car lengths back of the guy in front of him, Kanaan, and he should know better.
I think he was also trying to maybe.
Dario gets through nicely.
Yeah, he had no room.
To his credit, in fairness to Hinch, Kanaan looked like he was going to follow the car in front of him and actually poked in at the last second. Marty?
Well, in the back of that Accordion Townsend was Ryan Hunter-Reay. This could have championship implications. You see them changing the wing. He said, I have to come in, no question about it. And you saw the right front wing damage. They actually thought they shouldn't be on pit road because they thought pit road was closed, but Michael Andretti cleared it with the official. Ryan Hunter-Reay leaving, but losing a lot of track position.
Let's go back to the very start where we talked about Dario Franchitti. Oh, Viso's in, Jan.
Yes, he's been here 14 seconds, and they're checking carefully at the back. It appears as though right rear they have an issue back in the suspension area, so they checked out the front, checked the rear, and now there's a couple things that need attention for E.J. Viso.
If you're E.J. Viso, you're just devastated because I've been there. You're looking in your mirrors, and all you can see is the head of the crew member helmet back here, and he's looking at the suspension right back there, and EJ's mirror is right there, and he can watch these guys. He knows that there's an issue, and it's going to take some time to get it fixed.
Well, at the beginning, we were talking about Dario Franchitti having to get back in this championship. Well, now look at what has happened to Hinchcliffe. He won the first race of the year, and then he's out of the next 2.
Speaking of another guy, here's Mike Conway. They're pulling the side pod off. That's probably an electronic issue, I would guess. Most of the electronics are stored right there under that side pod.
Yeah, when they threw the green flag, he went nowhere.
How quickly fortunes change. Ryan Hunter-Reay with the victory.
So we're going to have to come back in anyway.
At Barber, they're going to get him back out. Now take a look. This is from Simon Pagenaud's on board. Hinchcliffe right there in the green 27.
Pagenaud made a good decision. He thought about it for a second and backed off, but there you see the ricochet effect.
Viso just, he was the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was running very well.
Yep.
Day done. 2 races in a row after the season started with such promise for James Hinchcliffe when he took his first IndyCar victory on the streets of St. Pete, and then bad luck at Barber, and now the incident here at Long Beach.
Looks like he's in a hurry to get out of there.
Hinchcliffe is in a hurry to get out of there. He's on his scooter, and he is gone. Normally, such a good sense of humor, not so much right now.
And at a place like this, really you want to be a Sato or a Franchitti on these. I mean, if you can just keep getting through turn 1 close and let all the carnage happen behind you, that's when you have a great points day.
It is. And, Wally, we talk about the pressure and the expectation of going into turn 1 and who's going to try to be a hero. Quite frankly, I can't think of a time a guy passed more than a car or 2. You know what I mean?
Right.
You rarely see some big dive bomb that works out.
Takuma Sato now leads from Long Beach. So impressive all year long and very impressive throughout the weekend from here at Long Beach. Could this be the day that AJ Foyt Racing returns to victory lane? Takuma Sato leads at Long Beach, but let's show you how he got there in the early going. Problems for Scott Dixon. And then lap 2. Sebastian Saavedra tries to make a move on Di Silvestro. That didn't work. Brings out a full course caution. On the restart, your points leader, Helio Castroneves. Stack up at the fountain and damage to the wing. He would have to come in and get that repaired. Lap 23, Takuma Sato on a charge. Past defending IZOD IndyCar Series champion, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Then on lap 31, Alex Tagliani trying to get past Kimball, and that ended up in a full course caution. We're back to green. Sato leads the field.
Takuma Sato gets a great jump, but Graham Rahal up the inside, and Kanaan is looking outside. They're 3 wide going into turn 1.
Look at Graham Rahal in the white and red. The number 15, he moves up. Tony Kanaan, oh, and I saw contact.
That's Oriol Servia had contact. I saw a piece of bodywork go flying.
Yep. We've seen it there. That fountain stack up has been an issue all day long.
Mike Conway still looks wounded back there.
Sato jumping out in front. Reds on the 14. Kevin?
Mike Conway has come in 2 different times. Each time they've changed the battery. It goes back to that last restart. He restarted 4th, a great day. They're still trying to get it assessed and finished, but his chance at a great result has gone by the wayside with these issues.
Marco Andretti doing the over-under on Sebastian Bourdais. Apparently that right front wing flapping around has done nothing to slow him down, but I can't imagine it's going to hold in there that long, Wally.
No, I don't either. Again, he's on fresh tires, and that'll mask that problem for a while.
All these restarts, everybody gets bunched back up together, and that's where we've seen problems. Look at Franchitti, the 3rd car in the shot, the red number 10, with the big slide off the corner. Tony Kanaan beginning to charge forward. Simon Pagenaud in the blue and white 77.
Right next to Kanaan. Oh!
Several guys on the button. Franchitti, Kanaan, Pagenaud. Pagenaud has 1 left in the race.
You also saw Tristan Vautier in the orange and white number 55 being shown in 4th. He has moved up. Right there in front of Kanaan in the hydroxy cut IndyCar. That's Vautier, and Vautier on the back of Franchitti. These restarts, Dario doesn't want to see him. He needs to change his luck this season. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Pagenaud's on the reds, and he knows that Kanaan's on the primary tires, so this is his time to try to get that spot if he can early in this run.
Sato still up front. The first race he has led this year. 10th race he's led overall in his career. And Justin Wilson beginning to move forward. Wilson in the Boy Scouts of America car, the number 19. You saw him, and right there.
Look at Justin Wilson trying to make a move on Power. That is very close to a potential blocking review, in my opinion. Power was very uncertain and very unpredictable going down the back straight.
Wilson in 8th, Power in 7th, Power in the familiar number 12. A little wide of the apex there. Wilson could get a run.
Brian, I can't believe what I'm watching right now, which is Will Power at the Long Beach Grand Prix struggling to keep Justin Wilson behind him, buried in the pack. He's P7 right now.
Wilson taking a look. He is taking a look. He's in front of Power right now. If he can roll it in there in front of him, and he does. Nice move.
He used push to pass to get it done, and Power did not defend by going to push to pass in the number 12. Oriol Servia now lined up to take a shot at Will Power. Power just does not look like he has the balance he wants.
How did Vautier get in 4th?
I was wondering that earlier, but I didn't want to ask.
Yeah, the halfway mark here, 40 laps in the books of 80.
And he gets in front of Franchitti. Vautier into 3rd spot.
So Vautier did pit on laps 2, 4, and 30, so he would have topped up presumably at the back of the pack, as you were suggesting, and then pitted on lap 30, but he has done a great job, and he's on pace. Look at Servia looking outside actually, going into 9.
Oh,
this might not work.
Outside.
Wow, that
Servia on the reds, Will Power on the blacks. Power was complaining about the reds not having balance. I just don't think the 12 has balance.
Brian, again, I just can't believe what we're watching. We're talking about a guy who owes, so many pole positions, so fast on street circuits, and he is hanging on for dear life here.
Oriol Servia.
Boy, Servia is right there. If he sees the window, he's going to go.
Power on the push to pass to try to defend. Simon Pagenaud gets past Tony Kanaan. Interesting.
Power is struggling right now.
The car just looks nervous, Marty.
Well, and I tell you, the guys in the pits have no idea what's going on. Remember, he was 4th on that last restart, fell back. He's lost positions almost every restart Will Power has, but he has said nothing on the radio, guys. But Brian, you're right. Clearly struggling with the handling right now. I just asked Tim Cindric what's going on. He said, I have no idea.
Marty, it looks like rear grip is the issue for Will Power, and this is the hardest part for him on the track right now, is exiting turn 7. That's where Servia's had a run on previous laps. And not close enough now.
Servia's end plate on his wing.
Well, remember on the restart, we saw that bodywork fly going into the fountain.
It actually looks like the second element on the right wing is moving, so it has become dislodged. Meanwhile, Takuma Sato has built up a 4-second lead, and it's Honda's through the first time.
Well, forward help you there or not? 4 would 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 help you there or not? 4
And that's
Now,
what we expected.
We expected Sato
Right.
to check out, as you said, Wally, on reds. But how about Graham Rahal? Also hanging in there on his blacks. P2, having a great race. Look at Wilson and Kanaan.
Just on a mission right now. Don't forget, these guys did not have a qualifying time.
And those yellows really help Sato. That you expect the window for the second stop to open around lap 48. He's only got 6 laps to go before he gets there. He doesn't have to worry about running those reds until the balance is gone.
Hey guys, Honda's having some resurgence. They got their butt kicked the first 2 races. They won the pole today, and look at them, 1 through 6. And what they really need is a good result, but they need a victory because they're tired of watching the bow tie go to victory lane.
What a difference a year makes, because Honda was not strong here last year. We didn't really see them come on strong until Indy. Of course, where it matters now, isn't it?
Honda puts it, I'd say at least 80% of their rationale for beating the IndyCar Series on winning the Indy 500, but it benefits you all throughout the season, especially on these long straightaways at Long Beach.
It's not just the manufacturers. I was talking to Castro Neves yesterday, and we were talking about his 3 IndyCar Indy 500 wins, and he said, I wouldn't trade a 1 for a championship. He would rather go out without a championship, but with those Indy 500 victories. Look at Tristan Vautier, the 55 biggest mover. He's moved to the front, the Firestone biggest mover, up towards the front, up to 3rd, 24 positions, and they did it strategically. Townsend, you were talking about it, 3 pit stops already.
They did, but I think what even more importantly here, he's on the same strategy as Sato on the reds here on this middle stint. These guys are going to be able to run a short middle stint and get back on blacks.
Oriol Servia, even with the damage to the right front, has managed to get past Will Power. The number 12 that Power is piloting, not healthy.
The Stryer Reinbold Racing team, working in conjunction with Panther Racing, had a really good offseason testing. Servia was so optimistic coming into this year. He said, you know, this is really the first time since I've been with DNR that I really feel like we're strong runners. It's nice to see that working out today.
And there is action everywhere. Sebastian Bourdais picks up another position. He goes past James Jakes. Jakes has had some problems on this racetrack, as many of the cars right now seem to be a bit wounded, but not Takuma Sato out in front as you ride on board with Jakes onto the front straightaway here at Long Beach.
So Rahal is making up some ground right now on Sato. It was 4 seconds, and now it's under 3 seconds. So Rahal's clicking off some pretty good laps.
Absolutely, and this is the crossover effect we're talking about with the tires. Sato's last lap, a minute 10.4. Graham Rahal, a minute 9.7. That's 6, 7 tenths quicker.
And by Jan Biekes' estimation, Sato's going to need another 4 laps. Jan gave us the window starting at 48. Sato needs to hold on for another 4 in that AJ Foyt Racing number 14. Sato up front, Rahal chasing him down, and the fans being treated to one heck of a race from here at Long Beach. Takuma Sato flashes by. We'll be back to more. Take a look at this. We'll be back to Long Beach. Well, I just counted 7 noses going on cars here at Long Beach. It's a street fight anytime you come to one of these racetracks that are lined with concrete walls. And man, the pushing, the shoving, it has been there since literally the drop of the green. They made it through turn 1, but then I think turn 3, the fountain turn, it started from the very beginning.
Well, we're watching a guy who has a history of a lot of contact in the first few years of his career, but he is moving away from the field right now.
And let's take the opportunity to go through the field, and I can tell you that the pit window may be open for Takuma Sato, but there's no reason for him to take it right now. He could go all the way to lap 65 if he needed to. I think it's a case of just watching those tires and deciding when to pit. Nice wide windows.
And right behind him is Graham Rahal, and Bobby told him on the radio just a few laps ago, you're catching him, you're going to get to him. It's been a good run and a much needed run for Graham Rahal. The season has not started the way they wanted, but he's got a chance to win here today, Marty.
Kevin, what do you say about Tristan Vautier other than the kid is absolutely impressive? Started the day 27th with the engine penalty at the start of the race. Wing damage, a penalty. They pitted 3 times the last stop on lap 29. Car terrific, though. They will pit in about 8 laps, Kevin.
Well, it's been some bad luck for Dario Franchitti. Remember, he was leading going into that first round of pit stops. He was able to save some fuel, came in last, but the yellow came out while he was in, so he came back out in 3rd, and he's really struggling on the blacks this time around, but he still has a sticker set of reds to go, Jan.
Yes, and Simon Pagenaud, who comes into the picture now, he is not on the same, he's the same number of stops, but he will be the first person who has to stop on pit road. He has now done 31 laps since his last pit stop, and of course right behind him, Justin Wilson. What a nice recovery. Both those two cars, great recovery. Justin Wilson said on his first stint, there's just no grip in the front. They went to the red, they changed the tire pressures, and now Justin is happy.
Tony Kanaan is another that's trying to hang on in this segment on the blacks, but he's still got stickers to go. And also watch for him at his next pit stop. They had trouble getting it back into first gear, so he's going to need a push to make sure he doesn't stall. Kanaan running in 7th. Right behind him, Oriol Servia. Great run for him after starting back in the pack. He actually picked up 9 spots between qualifying and today when they rescinded a penalty on it, but Servia is happy with where he's running right now, Marty.
Kevin Willpower has never finished out of the top 10 at Long Beach. He's flirting with it right now in the 9th position. Tim Cindric did tell me he just feels like the primary tires not agreeing with the chassis setup for this 12 car. And you see Willpower back there. And I believe Simon Pagenaud coming to pit road. This will begin the pit stops.
Yes, and that's exactly what we were predicting, in the fact that he was one of those that had pitted earlier. He's now going to go for the reds, but he has to run on these much longer than anyone else. So when Rob Wilson says 3.2, that's 3.2 miles per gallon. That's the fuel number. That's kind of moderate fuel save, and he has to look after those tires as well.
And that is a lot to ask.
That's a long time on the reds.
Man.
Yeah, if you're going to put those on, that I would. Townsend, don't you think if you can go right now, if you're sitting, you want to go maybe with 15 laps to go, 10 laps to go if you're going to put the reds on. You don't want to go 20 laps on the reds.
I don't think there's any way that that's going to work out if it stays green and he's got a long stint on reds.
Nice job. Keep pushing them. Keep pushing them.
Oh, and Ryan Hunter-Reay now with a problem. You were just on board with Graham Rahal, and Ryan Hunter-Reay was trying to get around Anna Beatrice, we hear, and a problem. That's turn 8 onto the back straightaway.
That's a corner that we've seen a lot of issues with so far this weekend, both in practice with Wilson and Simona. And let's see if we've got a replay.
It's where we saw Kimball and Tagliani.
Hunter-Reay pops out early here. He's got the angle, he's got the corner, and he's got too much speed at the apex.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anna Beatrice had nothing to do with that. Hunter-Reay just trying to carry big speed to get around, and
on board with Charlie Kimball as we watch the two go at it in front.
And that was really similar to Kimball's deal
know,
earlier in the same spot.
You know what I think happens, Wally, is that when you pop out that early and you're that narrow on entry, the track's really, really dirty up the inside.
Yeah.
And there's marbles getting spit off these tires, and nobody runs there except when you're making a pass.
And you're splitting hairs is how much speed you can run through there as well. That's very tight.
It's so wide on entry that you kind of have to guess because you don't have the brake marker. So you're really not used to braking for that corner at that perspective. It can throw you off, and clearly it did there for Hunter-Reay.
And Takuma Sato is taking this opportunity to come to pit road. Jan?
3, 2, 1.
They count him into the box, and of course, you would not really want to stop now, but you want to take the opportunity with this caution to do so. This looks like, sticker reds for Takuma Sato. He's got to look out for Wilson.
Go, you're clear, you're clear.
He's got it clear, and now he's got to make these tires
Watch
last.
your speed, remember your blend line.
What's Franchitti putting on? I'd be interested to see what his tires are.
Graham Rahal, a good clean stop. He's out. Same for Dario Franchitti, who just barely weaved his way back in. Was really aggressive getting out with slower traffic coming in.
Go.
Marty?
And guys, contact on pit road between Tristan Vautier and Willpower. Willpower has right rear damage, and now Willpower stalled it, leaving pit road. Tim Cindric warned Willpower it's going to be close. Vautier is going to be leaving his pit. As we're coming in, you're going to have to watch for that. Vautier does not appear to have any damage, but you can clearly see the right rear damage from Willpower.
I wonder if Vautier is going to say that was unavoidable too.
You can see the Penske crew yanking on those silly rear pods that have just caused so many issues. I can't see the benefit to those things.
Now let's take a look at this in pit lane on that stop. It's very tight down there, and you got Tristan Vautier in the orange and black 55, Willpower in the 12 coming in.
It's the
I can't believe he's still rolling while Power is driving across the front of him. He never stopped.
Yeah, it's the responsibility of, generally the guy on the outside front tire to release the driver safely. He's got to see Willpower
But
coming.
Vautier, he saw Power rolling in front of him, and the car continued to roll. He never stopped to let Power get in.
We need to come back
Let's take a look at it again. maybe we can get this thing settled. Maybe I can get the two of you to agree.
Watch Vautier. When Power comes in, he clearly sees him, but the car continues to go, go, go.
But I agree with Townsend.
I think we're on the same page, but let's see if we can argue a bit here. Pause it right there if we can. So
And now,
at this
really,
point,
you can't see the guy in
it's-
front of you? You should be on the brakes.
Okay, go ahead and roll it here. You can
look at
see
the crew
this
member.
guy right here. This crew member's thinking, oh, no. And he's probably mad at himself because it's his job to release Vautier safely and watch for cars coming.
I was going to say that he was outside
Let's
front.
see what he does. Hold it. He says,
tells
go,
him to
go, go. And he just realizes,
And then he realizes.
oh, gosh, I just saw Will Power.
You've got to rely on those crew guys when they tell you to go.
It's the only thing you're looking at.
Yep.
Oh, no, we've got Allmendinger disabled.
And I understand, Wally.
The
You
steering
look at
wheel
me.
is in your hands.
So is the brake pedal under your foot.
There you go.
Yeah, I got you. A.J. Allmendinger with a problem, turn 5.
This looks like some kind of driveline issue because he's just pulled off in a safe area there before the apex at turn 5. Here comes Power back in.
Engine Nelson, looks like there's a problem.
The day has gone from bad to worse for Will Power, and for guys like Sato and Rahal, even Franchitti.
Here we are. Here we are.
He's pointing to the right rear.
No, he's
Yeah,
pointing
and
to Vautier's crew, I believe.
He's pointing to both of them, Wally. They have the saws all out. They're going to cut this right rear pod piece off. And how many times have we seen pit road problems affect Will Power? Cost him the championship a couple of years ago when he had that wreck on pit road at Kentucky. And they hope it doesn't cost him that many points today, but they did get that piece off of the race car, and I think they have declared the suspension fine.
Ryan Hunter-Reay being removed from the racetrack on the hook. Our defending IZOD IndyCar Series champion, not
And
having
this
a good
all
day.
plays into Franchitti's hand. I mean, right now, he's sitting in 3rd spot. He's moved 9 spots up in the points so far, but these are the guys he's got to race against for the championship this year.
28 laps to go here from Long Beach. It should be 26 or so, maybe 27 when we get back going. But Ryan Hunter-Reay, not the day he wanted. This is why we are under full course caution. Ryan Hunter-Reay with a problem from the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. We've caught up with Ryan Hunter-Reay. It's not been his day, Marty.
Well, a little dejected. What exactly happened in your incident?
I just started getting desperate, you know. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. We missed some of the grip today that we had in prior days, and some of the corners that were my strongest were my weakest today. So I was definitely handcuffed. So I started just trying things. We were in the back anyway. I had to go for it. Got inside of I think it was Anna.
Yeah, it was Anna.
Yeah, Anna, and just got in too hot. There's no grip on the inside there. You know, I'm just trying things, trying anything to make a bad day go a little bit better. But it just went from bad to worse. So I feel really bad for the guys. They gave me a great car all weekend. We just missed it today, and you know, and I absolutely missed it out there on the track. So we got to rebound at Brazil for sure, and hopefully get that DHL Chevy on top again.
Kevin, he described being in the back as a nightmare.
Well, Joseph Newgarden may be 18th, but he's not totally out of the mix at this point. He came in and topped off here just a moment ago, so he's got a lap or two on the field, and everyone is being told, you can make it, but you're going to have to save. Tony Kanaan is in that group too. Keep an eye on Kanaan, 5th right now, and he's on the black primary tires, and Jimmy Vasser is saying, hey, everybody else in the top 20 is on reds, so at the end of this stint, you might be in better shape than everybody else, Jan.
That is the kind of coaching that he is going to be getting. That is Tony Kanaan. But when you look at Takuma Sato and all the rest of those cars on the reds, there's one thing to consider. The reds do not...
25 laps to go.
With 25 laps to go, the reds will not
You're
wear
the
as
man to beat
quickly.
right now. Just keep it up. Let's bring it on all the way home. You're doing a great job. Another great restart here.
Nice coaching by Larry Foyt. What I'm trying to get to here is that when there's rubber on the racetrack, the reds will not wear as quickly. So I think all these cars on reds, they won't go away as fast as they did earlier. So that's what they're banking on. Don't wear as quickly later in the event.
I don't know, Wally.
I think I'm
going with Kanaan, baby.
yeah.
I'm rooting for this guy
Yeah.
on blacks. I think that's the right call.
Wait a minute. I totally disagree with you. If we're going to argue, we can't agree on things.
You
So
guys can't agree. One thing I can agree on is that Ryan Hunter-Reay is a champion. A champion accepts the accolades when he deserves them and admits blame when he created the problem. That's the mark of a champion.
2 years ago, I think you would see a much more
Okay,
defensive
get ready.
Hunter-Reay, and now that he's got a championship under his belt, the honesty is very refreshing. Here
now,
we go.
one thing going with Kanaan, you don't want to lose positions right now because
Absolutely.
of that. That's
Absolutely.
real important. You you got to get with it now.
Could be our last restart. We don't know. Could be their last restart. They don't know. Let's see what happens.
It's time to go. Green flag in Long Beach. Takuma Sato leads the field. Graham Rahal right behind him. It's Charlie Kimball alongside.
Tony Kanaan looking up the outside.
Look at that. Kimball saying, I want back in this hunt. Goes in front, and Rahal pushing Sato.
And Kimball does not make it. But hey, you have to go for it.
Boy, it's great that that he didn't take anybody else out.
Well, and for Takuma Sato, I think discretion was the better part of valor. He let him go. Kimball back underway. You see him dragging the banner. But Graham Rahal right up underneath Sato.
He's saying, how's our wing?
It's messed up.
Not good, boss.
Yeah, not good at all.
Okay, guys, we'll do another front wing. Tires.
I want the parts concession on front wings here this weekend. They've damaged a lot of them. Rahal all over the back of Sato through turn one that time. It'll be interesting to see both
Look
on
at Marco
reds.
Andretti making a move on Simona. Clean pass, he makes it work.
Andretti up to 8th. That blue and red, number 25. Simona Di Silvestro right behind in the green and blue.
Not a lot of push to passes left. Pagano out of push to pass. Servi on the button, Andretti on the button, Simona on the button. That group is all going for it. Everybody's defending or pushing.
Sato not getting away.
Here comes Servia up the inside and just makes it work. Nice pass.
That looked easy. He was on the button to get the job
And
done.
remember, Pagano had nothing left to defend.
Yep.
And now Marco is all over him, and Marco's got how many? 2 left.
Takuma Sato 4. Push to pass.
Oh, look at
left.
Marco. He has got a good exit going here. I don't know that this is going to be a long enough straight, though, for him. He's going to hold off. He's going to wait for the exit of turn 8.
Charlie Kimball in. Another nose.
From under the car then, so we don't pick it up again.
And Andretti, Pagano there in front.
Pagano's got nothing to
defense
defend
right now.
here. He is in trouble. And he is
Oh.
defending. That is...
There looked like contact there. There's contact. Look at the right rear.
There
Smoking.
is.
That's going to...
Marco's left front end fence cut down the right rear for Simon Pagano.
And the penalty was self-induced for
It
Pagano.
really was, but I got to say, he proactively went to the inside. Marco tried to force the issue. We're going to have to see that again to really determine if there was any reason to review, but there's no way Pagano can defend at this point with the right rear going down like that.
Andretti with only one push to pass left, does not use it into turn 1 at the end of the straightaway. And look at this. There's the number 9. Target Ganassi moving forward.
Somebody went to the runoff.
Yep, somebody went to the runoff. It was Bourdais. Sebastian Bourdais, and you think about champions and
he was
winners
running
here who have
11th
had problems, and Bourdais just adds his name to the list.
Well, why are we seeing so many mistakes? It's desperation, just like Hunter-Reay.
Yeah.
Maybe their last chance to make a move. Let's see what happened here with Pagano with Marco coming. Now, Pagano moves to the right, to the inside. Again, I think Marco should not have forced that. He should have gone to the outside. I don't think they're going to call Pagano for a penalty.
No, I don't think so either.
They might call him for a penalty on avoidable contact.
Takuma Sato leading here at Long Beach, the 39th running of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, as Simona Di Silvestro trying to keep J.R. Hildebrand behind. Battles absolutely everywhere around this racetrack. We'll be right back to Long Beach. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back to more IZOD IndyCar Series action from the beach.
Beautiful day in Long Beach. Takuma Sato having a beautiful drive, still leading here as we continue through the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. You know, one thing, guys, to keep in mind, didn't pay to be in the top 10 in the championship standings, did it coming into this race? Look at all the guys who have had problems. Helio Castroneves, Ryan Hunter-Reay, James Hinchcliffe, Scott Dixon, Will Power, Charlie Kimball, all with issues today, all top 10 in the championship standings. This could really shake things up, Ryan.
Well, it's one of the things that we were talking about. We talked about Dario having to get back in the championship. Well, he's been helped because a bunch of the other guys in the top 10 have had problems.
That's what I'm saying. These are the guys that you're going to wind up racing for the championship. So this is a gift. If you can come out of here with a good finish, Dario's going to be very happy.
So right now I'm just watching lap times, guys. I'm watching Sato drop down now into the 10s, minute 10 flat, minute 10.0 for Rahal, minute 9.8 for Wilson, and Tony Kanaan, the guy we're watching, minute 10.6 on those blacks. Remember, the reds will wear out quickly here. About another 5, 6, 7 laps is when they start sliding around.
Still 20 laps to go from here at Long Beach. We're not going to hand the victory to Takuma Sato just yet, but if he were to take the victory, AJ Foyt Racing would celebrate big time. The last time they won an IndyCar event, July 7th, 2002. We'll be right back. Graham Rahal on a charge in the number 15 Big O tire. There he is, giving chase to Takuma Sato right in front, the number 14 ABC Supply from AJ Foyt Racing. And just in that last lap, Rahal half a second gained on Sato.
That's true. Now he's catching up. Sato's going to be tough to get by, but who this helps right now? Tony Kanaan, because as Sato slows down, it allows Kanaan to get that gap back on those black tires. He's the only driver, again, on blacks.
And he's going to need it now because, I mean, it's to 6.6 seconds now.
Watch what happens here. We were watching Vizo come out of the pits. I hope he doesn't get in front of TK.
Certain areas of the racetrack where Rahal looks to have an advantage, but Sato seems to have the advantage off of the hairpin, and that's actually where you want it, off those slower corners.
And also, when you're the leader, you're setting the pace. We don't know how hard. Sato may have a lot left right now. Maybe he's trying to conserve those tires a little bit.
One thing he does have a lot left of is push to pass. He's got 4 to Graham's 2.
Rahal was told by Bobby Rahal about 3 laps ago, I'm going to need better. You're going to need to save fuel better than that. And then the next lap by, he says, okay, we're good. And we're going to have some to go race at the end. So that must have been a remarkable lap there for Graham.
In neutral a lot, I guess, Kevin. I didn't know you could save that much fuel in a lap. Perhaps a misread, obviously, on the part of the engineer looking at the telemetry. But if you've been given the go-ahead, it's time to dig deep and use everything that you can to try to chase down Sato. But you guys pointed it out, Sato, 2 more push to passes than Rahal had.
job.
Tony Kanaan in 5th on the blacks. He could have the tires that make it through the end. We've seen the reds fall off. And Wally, you and Townsend both questioned, do you really want to make that long run to the checkered on reds the way we've seen him give up? Kanaan really beginning to take advantage of the primary tire.
But you get to the point where he's 7.5 seconds now. You're running, you've got a lot of racetrack you have to make up in 7.5 seconds with only, say, 10 laps to go if this thing crosses over.
And that's what we've got to wait for, is to see when the leader starts to slow down. When does Sato start to struggle on those reds? Right now, he's showing no signs of slowing down. Did a 109.2 on that last lap. TK at a 110.2. So TK still a full second slower, losing ground.
Not working in his favor right now, but Kanaan still holding on. We talked about Sato being good off of the low-speed corners. Look at this. Through the carousel, Sato, the first car in the shot, off the hairpin, pull the trigger, and go.
It's a little deceiving, though, when you look at that last corner, because it's kind of like a little accordion effect there.
It's the biggest accordion in racing.
But it just stretches. Anything you gain, you get an advantage of all the way down the length of that straightaway. I understand what you guys are saying, the accordion effect, but what you gain there, you gain for a long time. What you lose there hurts for a long time.
Absolutely. Yesterday in my sports car race, I did something different every single time in the hairpin, trying to figure out how do I get this to work. And in our case, we're fighting some traction control as well, or trying to work with the traction control, but these guys don't have that benefit. So a lot of it comes with how good are you at making adjustments with your right foot on the power.
Rahal doing his best to close down. Kevin, what do you hear about Graham?
Well, let's go directly to a source that will know better than us. Jay O'Connell is the technical director for Rahal Letterman Lanigan. What is the game plan for Graham as everybody tries to save some fuel for this last stint?
Well, for sure, everyone's in the same boat, having pitted in lap 51. So we're giving him a good target so he can save a little bit of fuel and go hard at the end. But he's hitting the number and doing a good job, so we think we're going to be okay.
Is he going to have the pace to get around Sato?
Well, we're trying to save a little bit so we can go after him at the end. So we're going for that.
It's been a good weekend so far. They wanted better for Mike Conway, but here in the ALMS race yesterday, Rahal Letterman Lanigan 1-2 in GT.
Well, here's the deal. Motorsports is a team sport. You see the star in the car, but it's guys like Jay O'Connell and the engineers that make it work. Graham Rahal trying to rely on his team to help him chase down Takuma Sato from the streets of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. We'll be back for more. You see Graham Rahal just behind him, and running third is Justin Wilson. Wilson having a great run considering that he started in 24th. So he is improved. You got to give him the Firestone Extra Mile Award today for the things that he has overcome, and there's one of them. That was a big hit.
Yeah, he, what we call casing the corner. He hit the curb and it threw the front wheels off the racetrack. He lost front grip. Unfortunately, Simona came through there and didn't know he was in blocking the racetrack and clipped him.
Well, in just a lap or two, Wilson moving forward, that's good to see, but in just a lap or two, Sato beginning to pull out a little bit, but Wilson having a good day up in third.
And part of that extra mile for Justin Wilson, of course, after that accident, they replaced the rear wing, and that's what they found a foul of in qualifying. You'll notice that on the rear wing, the lower element, how that's white, when that comes from IndyCar, it's carbon, and you have to take the vinyl wrap off of it every time it goes through tech inspection. They forgot to put that on before qualifying. They would not let him go out. He never got a timed lap. The team obviously was steaming. They had a very lengthy team meeting last night, and obviously they've all rallied behind Justin Wilson.
Who held that meeting? I would say Justin Wilson, probably.
Was the entire team here today?
I think his engineer, Bill Pappas, had a lot to do with it.
Inside 10 laps to go. Takuma Sato still out in front, trying to bring AJ Foyt a victory. AJ not here today, but I guarantee you there'll be celebrations in Texas if Takuma Sato can get to the checkered flag in first. Eight laps to go from the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, and Takuma Sato just extended his lead over Graham Rahal. Justin Wilson's trying to hang as well, but Sato has been quick all weekend long. Larry Foyt calling the shots this weekend as AJ Foyt is at home. Connor Daly in the background, who'll join the team at the Indianapolis 500. This team very impressive this year, and Takuma Sato has brought a certain spark, I think, to AJ Foyt Racing. Sato having a good run. Let's check in the Toyota through the field with Jan.
And of course, through the field, we start with Takuma Sato. You just saw Larry Foyt, and the decision that he made, along with so many of the other top teams, stay with the Reds in the final stint. It appears to be working. They do not seem to be wearing, and look at that gap that he has on Rahal.
It's more than 3 seconds. Graham Rahal is told, you still have to save. We're on pace, we're doing on K, but there's still a hope, though, as they turn off the wick in the final few laps. Maybe he still has a chance at him, Jan.
And Justin Wilson is very happy that the Reds are not wearing to that degree, because he did not like his car at all on the blacks. They made tire pressure adjustments, and they went to the Reds, and he loves it. Kevin?
Dario Franchitti in the same boat as everybody else. He was told a couple of laps ago, we need a 10th better to be able to make it to the end. He started on point. Maybe he would still be up there if it wasn't for that mistimed caution for him. Tony Kanaan is 5th. The hope from Jimmy Vasser was, as he was the only one on blacks, the primary tires that should last longer, he might be able to catch up. Vasser said the field is going to come back to you, but so far that has not worked out, and Kanaan is running out of time. Magnificent run, I think, for Oriol Servia. We'll find him back in the 6th position. Dennis Reinbold is coaching him and trying to keep up his optimism right now, because they are in super save mode right now. But he said, we can make this work. You can get to the finish. Jan?
Jerry Hildebrand is one of those that has certainly been trying to persevere. There's actually 3 in a row that we're going to look at that may take some of these perseverance awards when things don't go well in qualifying, and then you're trying just to close the gap. It's just a weekend. Just press, 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 and hope you can move forward. Nice job by J.R. Hildebrand. You'd have to say a very similar situation for Marco Andretti, having made pit stops, having changed the front wing, still having front wing damage, and again, pressing on, pushing on the Reds, but getting some heat from behind by Simon Pagenaud. Again, Simon feels as though he got tripped up. His whole reason for having to play catch-up is because of qualifying. Something just really went amiss. He was the fastest car just before qualifying, then it fell apart. Now they're trying to chase back. Simona Di Silvestro just comes into the picture. She also feels as though she would have had a fast enough practice lap or qualifying lap to transfer, and just as she came to the line, they threw the red and they disallowed that time. So it is so amazing with this series being so competitive. Oftentimes it comes down to qualifying and then fighting back.
Well, Jan, we talked about the problems for the championship leaders. Well, how about the rally for these two guys? Helio Castroneves, remember they had the problems on the very first restart of the day, changed the wing at lap 13. They have rallied all day long in 11th right now. As it stands, they will still be the championship leader leaving here. He'll lead by 5 over Takuma Sato. You see right behind him, Scott Dixon, a nice rally for him too. They started 26th on the day. They have steadily made their way to the front. They also had the spin early on, so Dixon has rallied as well. He'll also save a little of championship points tonight. Nice day for these two guys, Brian.
That's good stuff, and there are plenty of stories absolutely everywhere through the field as you look at Takuma Sato, now 4.7 seconds. We thought the Reds would go away by now, and we were just talking in the break, and Jan reminded us that he was right and you guys were wrong.
Now, Townsend really blew that call. I agree with Jan on that.
Well, I got to tell you, the one thing that I didn't factor in that Jan pointed out was that as the track rubbers in during the race, the surface will be less abrasive on the Reds. Only 5 laps to go now. Takuma Sato showing no signs of struggling at all. He is
putting down some
laps. Gone. Kanan 16 seconds back now on the blacks.
I mean, just think about how big this win would be, not only for Takuma Sato, 52 starts. Today was his 52nd start. If he can hold on for this victory, we said it was 2007, the last A.J. Foyt IndyCar victory. But, you know, the last time A.J. Foyt Racing won on a road course?
5 to Graham.
Oh, want to guess?
No.
How about 1978 at Silverstone, England?
I tell you, these guys have really turned this thing around. Larry Foyt's done a great job with this race team, and
this isn't the first time they've been fast.
I was going to say, they have been fast. They just haven't been able to put it all together. They could do it today. It shows how strong this team has been at a lot of times, but they just have had problems. They were running really well here, I guess, last year. And a couple laps ago, they had problems. So
that's right.
It'd be nice to see.
Now, this is Long Beach, and anything can happen at any time, especially as guys continue to stay desperate that are further down through the field. So we'll see if it stays green here all the way to the end. But a podium that would be Sato, Rahal, and Wilson would be a breath of fresh air. I think they'd all be doing a group kumbaya hug.
We're not doing that.
Wow. 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go for Sato. It's been since 2002, as we said, so 11 years that A.J. Foyt Racing has been minus that top step of the podium. They want it today, but so does this man, Graham Rahal. There is no quit in this driver, no quit in this team. Every lap matters because Sato still has to go through traffic. This racetrack has bit championship contenders and former race winners here today. Our defending Izod IndyCar Series champion, Ryan Hunter-Reay, an uncharacteristic mistake, easy for me to say. Boom.
Yeah, he was the first to admit, hey, trying hard, I'm deep in the field, I'm just going to go for it, and it obviously didn't work out here. Then in the pits, Hunter-Reay pulls in, Vautier's guy sends him early, and Power gets contact on the right rear, puts him out.
He's been running into a lot this year. We're only 3 races in.
Maybe a pass here, Bourdais on Power. Here's some desperation. Nicely done.
Very nicely done. And Will Power continuing to drop back. But Takuma Sato continuing to extend his lead. 77 laps in the books through the hairpin. It'll be 78 this time. That means 2 to go. And the car fast all weekend long. In fact, Sato quit all year long.
No pressure, 2 to go.
No pressure.
No pressure. He's got 4 push to passes, so, you know, no need to burn him. But if he did have any pressure, he'd at least have some money in the bank on his turbo boost.
Well, and we saw what I thought moves of a little bit of desperation in the first race of the year at St. Pete for Sato. He was a little more angry. He was willing to risk things, but today I've seen a very intelligent drive from him. I wasn't saying that the one at St. Pete was not intelligent, but he's been aggressive, but he's been measured and calculated in all of his moves.
Yeah, and when he gets
what did we say?
Yep.
Can they get this cleaned up quick, or can Kanaan get out of here?
Tony Kanaan.
See if a yellow comes out.
Who was on the blacks, who we thought might have a chance if the Reds went away late in the going. It's all gone away here. As you see, Servia
I really don't think he knew Serbia was there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I could see him looking in the mirror and watching Serbia come up.
Well, for Takuma Sato, out of the hairpin.
I completely disagree.
I want to see it again.
Stay left, turn 1.
White flag.
There it is, the white flag for Takuma Sato. 1 lap to go. He's got to be paying attention down here.
No pressure behind.
And that's important to know. No pressure behind. You worry about trying to stay.
Good job, baby. Bring it home.
No attack, no chance. That is Takuma Sato's motto. He's attacked here today. We said he did it in a very measured fashion. He's improved. The car looked balanced underneath him all day long. The team doing a good job with strategy. And Takuma Sato half a lap away from his first IZOD IndyCar Series win.
How great for ABC, too. They have hung with these guys for a long, long time. Great sponsor for this team, and they are going to get a victory out of this.
Full course yellow.
And now we've got the full course caution. So
Bring it home.
all Sato's got to do is just steer it around.
It's done for Takuma Sato through the carousel one last time.
Nice and easy. Bring it home.
No passing on the racetrack, full course caution. Sato through the hairpin one last time, up through the gearbox. 52 race starts, and Takuma Sato wins in the 52nd start. He wins the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.
That's really nice.
That's the sound of a driver that has suffered and worked and kicked and scratched and crawled to make this happen, and there's a tremendous amount of relief in the sound of his voice.
And he's a driver that didn't start his racing career
Great job, guys. Fantastic.
until late. He wasn't one of these guys that started at 6 years old in go-karts, and he has had a rapid rise to the top. Jan.
And all the hugs and all the congratulations. Back on the radio to say some more for Takuma. When you called him and said 5 to go, no pressure, what were you feeling?
A lot of pressure. But just watching, you know, those laps seem to take forever. But just so happy for this group. You know, we worked so hard. I hated Dad's not here. You know, he's at home. He's got to have surgery next week. But this is his team. He's really helped us build it. Just our sponsor, ABC, has stuck with us for so many years. You know, 10 years with us. And it's just, I'm so glad it's all come together.
You have really built a team. It's been over 10 years since there's been a victory. But tell us about Takuma Sato. People, in a way, kind of laughed about the way this might work together, but it's been like a miracle.
I don't think I've ever seen a perfect drive, and he drove the perfect race today. Everything he did, from restarts in the pits, it was unbelievable. The guy's a true professional, and he's great.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Thank you.
July 7th, 2002, the last time an A.J. Foyt racing car went to victory lane. But you know what? A.J. Foyt obviously is legendary. He's not here today, but the guy who's really built this team and turned it around in the last year or so is Larry. I mean, you got to give the credit to him. Sato drove the car, but Larry Foyt is really kind of taken the reins of this program, and he has built it and turned it into
no question. We started to see signs of it last year with Mike Conway, you know, quick in a lot of places. And I think Sato, he just comes in with so much intensity. He only knows how to drive 10/10s. And I think it's actually been a great match. A lot of people question whether or not it would work, but it seems to be hand in glove.
Oh, it has worked perfectly, and we've seen speeds from the time that he got in the car at St. Pete, and you're about to see him climb out of the car, and I guarantee you.
I can't wait for the interview, because Takuma Sato's about the best interview there is.
And you know, it's just like Hitch. We've had, this year we've already had 2 first-time winners, and it is. It's like Council said, it takes so much pressure off you. To get that first win is so hard, and it's such a relief for a race car driver to make that happen.
First career win. Take a look at the people who've done it here at Long Beach. It's pretty impressive. And over the years, too, Long Beach has been a pretty good indicator of the championship. So you look at that, and guys who have won at Long Beach before and then gone on to championship, that list is pretty long as well. Sato pulls up the victory lane.
If I'm looking at the points right, he's now second in points. That picked up 9 positions off that win.
Sato into victory circle. I'm surprised he's still sitting in the car. I thought he would have been out dancing on it by now. Not going to take long. He's going to come out, and the team already running down And that's the problem for the team. It is a long, long way down pit road.
It is. That's Steve
back to
Cusack, his
victory
manager, that's just ducked in. Sato lived at his house. I think he might still live at his house. Sato's family's actually still in Europe because Takuma told me, I'm not sure if this whole racing thing's going to work out. I never know if I'm going to have a job, so I haven't moved my family here yet. Maybe it's time to bring the wife and kid over.
There comes the team. They're finally getting there. I said Long Beach, a good indicator of the championship. 11 times the winner here has won the championship. Could we see that in 2013? Look at this. He is pumped up, and the team now getting down there. There's Craig Baranowski. Awesome
Takuma
stuff.
Sato receiving all those photographs, the confetti. This, of course, will be a moment that he will remember. We'll slide around the backside of the car here. What a place to get your first career victory. Some very big names have accomplished that at Long Beach, and now you can add Takuma Sato. Takuma, congratulations. What a place to get your first win.
I just can't find the word. I mean, Boyd's done tremendous job. I mean, just fantastic. Car was great. Pit stop was perfect. Great call. And I mean, just incredible feeling.
Were you worried at all at the end that you had such a long time to go on the red sidewall tires?
Not really. I mean, that's just keep head down and do the job. Obviously, I've been through a couple of times the unlucky situation in the last 3 years, but this is just amazing. I'm really, really happy with the team. Thank you very much for all the sponsors and AJ giving such a fantastic opportunity, and Boyd's done a fantastic job.
We were just talking to Larry Foyt, and he said he can't remember a time someone drove a perfect race. He thinks you did.
I think it was really perfect. I mean, it was, put it this way, it was easy win. You can't describe this because it was such a hard race all the time, but this is the win, comes so everything together. This is awesome.
What do you think AJ's saying right now?
I wish AJ's here, but he's treatment in the house, but I'd really love to call him right away.
All right, congratulations, Takuma Sato, AJ Foyt Racing, and AJ ABC Supply.
Well, Graham Rahal got out of the car, big hug from his dad, Bobby, and as frustrated as you were the first 2 races of the year, what was different today?
I think we just performed the way that we ought to each and every weekend. We came out here, and the Midas Big O Tires car was right there. I mean, all week qualifying was a little disappointing to be 11th, but you know, we were in the top 5 almost every session, and I felt going into the race that's exactly what we could do here. So to be honest, it just feels phenomenal to get this result, and God, you know, so close to winning yet again. I mean, on the last restart, if Kimball weren't in the way, I think we would have had a great run at it, and clearly he overshot himself going into 1, but man, it felt so good to be on the podium here. Long Beach, so much history here. The only problem is I think this is the 6th time Rahal's finished 2nd here, so
we need to change that.
We're gonna have to break the curse eventually, but like I said, I can't thank these guys enough. They've just done a great job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, obviously too many Martys in racing. I know it's Marty Snyder down in pit lane. Justin Wilson, a good run too, ends up on the podium in 3rd. Kevin Lee has more.
He's getting greetings from Dale Coyne, and also the 4th place finisher Dario Franchitti is here. We'll start with Justin first, starting all the way from the back. How did you get up to the front and get to the podium?
Well, you know, it's just a little bit of luck, circumstances, and the team did a great job with the strategy. We pitted on, I think, like 5, 6, came in, put the reds on. We had plenty of reds. It seems we didn't qualify, so you know, we just went out there and pushed hard the entire race, and I think that helped, having that extra set, being able to pick a few people off. And it's great to get this result for the Boy Scouts of America and everybody at Dale Coyne Racing. They've worked hard, you know, to put the car back together on Friday. So I got to thank them. And it's also great for Honda, you know, here at Long Beach to get 1, 2, 3, 4. I think is fantastic.
And it's much needed points for you, Dario, but you had, I'm sure, higher expectations after starting on the point. What do you take from your day?
Well, you never know what's going to happen, do you? And we, you know, we were pretty good for that first stint. We had a bad pit stop there. We dropped the car with only three tires on the wagon, I think, so that cost us a good few spots. And then I lost one to my man here, Justin, trying to avoid Charlie, who was a lap down and going for glory. But, you know, at the end there, I think we were fairly evenly matched. It was just when we chose to save fuel at that last bit. But I didn't once I lost the track position, didn't enough to get to catch Justin. But good result for the Target team after those first couple of DNFs.
Definitely solid days for both Justin Wilson 3rd, Dario Franchitti 4th.
Well, we talked about it. A lot of guys who were struggling in the championship move forward, and a lot of guys that were up at the front have fallen back. You look at the results here. One of those guys who needed a good finish was 5th, J.R. Hildebrand.
The best Chevy on the day, a great run for him. That bodes well for the rest of the season for those guys.
A lot of contact. Marco Andretti fought a damaged car for a while. Helio Castroneves, who came in leading the championship, ends up with a top 10 run. That's good for him, but nobody had the day that Takuma Sato did from the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. We'll be back to more from the beach to wrap things up right after this.
And we promised restarts would be adventurous today, and they certainly were a little too adventurous for James Hinchcliffe. And we saw you depart. Didn't want to talk to anyone. You've had a moment to calm down. Let's get your reaction to what happened on that restart with you. And you can watch the replay right there.
Yeah, well, from my point of view, it just looked like, and there it is. I mean, I hadn't seen it, and Tony got a killer start, and you know he's known for being the guy on restarts. And I guess he got pinched a little bit. And while we were in the brake zone, he just turned in on me. I mean, we went in there. I was defending against Pagenaud, I think it was, behind me, and he got squeezed. I got squeezed. I guess it's one of those racing deals, but you know the restarts here are so tough because you come out of the hairpin and the first 3 rows are lined up, but everyone else is just absolutely on the gas. And he had that awesome run, and I had it one of the restarts. I mean, it's the nature of this joint, and it just sucks, man. I think we played the tire strategy right. I think starting on the blacks was the right call. The car was actually really good. We were just biding our time. We were going to try and make up some ground on the reds in that second stint, and you know, you could become the victim of something like that. So tough deal for the GoDaddy car. It's not what we wanted today, not what we deserve today, and unfortunately, some of my teammates got involved in it too. You know, so tough day for the team.
EJ Viso coming by to give him a pat on the back. I did mention the other championship leaders having problems. He said that makes it a little bit better, not much. Kevin.
Oh, a much better day for J.R. Hildebrand. 5th the second year in a row here at Long Beach. This is a real good run, and you're another guy that needed a result today.
Yeah, we did need a result today, that's for sure. So just big ups to the team. You know, we picked up a lot of spots in the pits, and we had great strategy to end up on our sticker reds there at the end, was able to get by some guys on the track and sort of take advantage of the mishaps that happened out there. So really excited about it. And just really quick, I want to say hey to Chase Lycan back up. He's up in the hospital in Minnesota, so we're rooting for you. We're carrying in our car for you, pal, and we'll see you soon.
Chase is the nephew of Paul Sheehan, a longtime crew member with Panther. So Chase, we're wishing you a quick recovery. Brian?
Great run by Hildebrand, one of those drivers that needed it. We've talked about how the championship has moved around, people having problems. Remember, Castroneves had a 9-point lead over Dixon, but look at Sato. He's jumped up there in second.
Unbelievable. Also, Justin Wilson popping up there. Good, strong run for him today. Graham Rahal now in the top 10 in points. So it's really starting to get jumbled. And
some guys like
Dixon
Scott
up.
Dixon kind of saved their day, too, having a good finish considering what they went through earlier.
We'll be back to more from Long Beach right after this.